Chairman, I want to say this very clearly, just because I think I'm going to hear this all day. I also think parents should be the ones making decisions for their kids. Yeah. I doubt anyone on this committee disagrees with that. What I'm saying is a family making over $500,000 a year shouldn't get my taxpayer dollars to make that decision. I'm not trying to prevent them. I'm not trying to prevent them from making a decision. Is anyone on this dais proposing that we make it illegal to go to a private school? I'm not proposing that. I don't think anyone here is proposing that. What we're talking about is, are we sending our limited, precious taxpayer dollars to the wealthiest families in the state who are already sending their kids to private school? And if you say that's not the purpose, then put it in your bill.
75% of the prioritizations levels are families earning $160,000 or less. 75%.
Again, prioritization is not enrollment. We just established that. Yeah. You can say someone is prioritized, that they're eligible. That doesn't mean they can actually get in. Again, the prioritization is, in a lot of states, is window dressing, because what matters is who actually gets the funds, who actually gets admitted, or who's already been admitted, right? It's much easier to get these funds if you already have your kids in private school, because you've cleared the biggest hurdle. And so that's, again, why the majority of states have seen the majority of the funding goes to wealthier parents who already have their kids in private school. And I'm just saying, you oftentimes bring up these more sympathetic cases. And again, if this bill was limited to low-income people or even middle-class people, then we could have that conversation. But do you think that our taxpayer fund should go to a family making over $500,000 a year who's already sending their kid to private school?
I think parents deserve the right to make that decision.
No, that's not my question. That's not my question. And Mr. Chairman, you and I have worked closely together. You're my friend.
Yeah.
I know your heart is for kids. I do. I'm just trying to, I really want an answer to this question. Do you think our taxpayer dollars should go to a family making over $500,000 a year who are already sending their kids to private school? Because that's the question, not a low-income family. We could have that conversation. Not even a working-class, middle-class family. We could have that conversation. But your bill allows for literally millionaires to take money that could go to public schools to subsidize their private school tuition. Are you okay with that? Or should we work on that part of the bill?
I think parents deserve that right. And I think the bill is prioritized to make sure that that those kids that we can all agree are the most vulnerable are prioritized to receive the assistance. And you know, as about sympathetic characters, that is, well, I don't really know, and I know you don't mean it that way, but you know, it's a real thing. It's a real thing when a family struggles.
Of course,
it is. And I also, like I said, I don't have a microscope into the lives of every family. And I think that it's a red herring to talk about millionaires and billionaires accessing this, because, you know, and I think you'll hear testimony later today that will dispute the fact that these end up in the hands of rich folks. We know that you will hear from families that were working families and others that are just folks out there trying to make a living that just need a different option for their kids.
Do you think people making over $500,000 a year are struggling?
Not as much as some.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Those are my questions. The last thing I'll say is this is our sixth hearing on vouchers in 2 years. We have not had 6 hearings on teacher pay. We have not had 6 hearings on student discipline. We have not had 6 hearings on student mental health. We've not had 6 hearings on arts education, something that you and I are very passionate about. But this is our 6th hearing on vouchers. And so I want to say something that I think everybody already knows, which is that there are very powerful forces pushing this issue on us. This is not about education, it's about politics. And Mr. Chairman, I am not doubting your sincerity bringing this particular bill. I'm not. I want to talk about just this issue of vouchers generally, because no other issue comes with this level of bullying, this level of bribing, this level of billionaire backing. 6 of our colleagues sacrificed their seats over this issue. 6 of the finest legislators I know, including one of my best friends in the legislature, one of my legislative classmates, Chairman Reggie Smith. There were only 2 people in our legislative class because Reggie and I were both elected in special elections. He always said he was the valedictorian of our class, and I was the salutatorian. We were in different parties. We disagreed on a whole lot, but we both supported our public schools, and for that, he was targeted. Along with 5 of our other colleagues, he was buried under a mountain of big lies and big money, and all of that because of this issue. I've never had so many colleagues, including Republican colleagues, including some who are signed on this bill, privately tell me they hate this issue because it is not about education, it's about politics. There are powerful forces trying to dismantle public education in this state and across the country. As a former public school teacher, as a product of Texas public schools, I can't stay silent. I won't stay silent. And honestly, I'm so glad to see so many Texans here at their state capitol who refuse to be silent as well. And so I'm looking forward to a passionate debate about this, because I do think this is maybe the most consequential policy that I've ever seen come through this body in my 4 terms. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right.